I just went by his desk one day, asked him what's up. He said, "Oh, I got this weird result," and he ran a reaction, ran out of his starting material, no product, and he couldn't figure it out. So he ran the reaction in deuterated solvent, took an NMR at the end, and found out that he near perfect selectivity arine CH functionalization with the wrong half of his oxidant.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Après Venture Podcast, focusing on really the intersection of tech, science, medicine, and pharma. The special host, because my background in drug discovery, we like to, highlight that as well. And I have a very special guest this morning, Anthony, who we've known each other for quite a while. And, he's probably the best chemist I know, not to toot his horn, but I go to him whenever I have organic chemistry questions. So I was really excited to talk to Anthony. So welcome, Anthony. Maybe we start off by introing yourself and, we get started. Thanks.
Sure. Yeah. Happy to be here, Fineth. I appreciate the over-the-top compliments.
It's not over the top.
Yeah. So I graduated with a PhD in organic chemistry in 2016 and started work as a medicinal chemist. And I've moved, honestly, kind of followed Fineth's inspirational journey through trying to integrate, technology to organic chemistry, and have moved more toward informatics, I think, in the last 5 years or so. A medicinal chemist operates on top of biological data, right? And I operate on top of bioinformatics data.
Sure, so absolutely. Yeah, I think there's a lot to talk about there. So maybe we could, start off with your PhD work. How did that all come together, and how did you decide? Maybe even going back a little further, how did you get interested in science? I think that's always a great, at least for me, from being a scientist, hearing like of all the topics out there you could pick, why science? I know I have my answer, but I always like to kind of poke at that a little bit.
Yeah, I get that. Why science? I think I started off where a lot of people start off. I liked mixing potions as a kid. I really liked the idea of inventing and building something that was my own, or working towards that. When I went to undergrad, I didn't know what to do. I wanted to be a mathematician, actually, but
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Oh, sweet.
Yep. My parents were like, "What are you gonna do? Teach?" And I said, I don't know. They're like, "What else can you do with that in case you need a backup?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And they're like, "Well, you could do science. You could do medicine. That's what people do when they're good at math and science." I said, "Sure." So I did that up until I hit sophomore year, or organic chemistry 2, and I was in the class of Christina White, and she was super inspiring. She loved what she did, and she taught me that organic chemistry was about puzzle solving, and I love puzzles. So I shifted in that direction, and I applied to grad school. And
oh, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's exact same thing happened to me with my
Really?
undergrad chemistry advisor.
Really?
I was going to be a doctor. Yeah, I thought I didn't really know any scientists, to be honest, growing up. Grew up in a pretty rural area, so it was like, anybody that had a science background was a doctor, essentially.
Yeah, for sure.
Or there weren't any like industrial, certainly like I met now. I certainly didn't know any, I guess they knew some. I grew up in Maryland, small town in Maryland, and we knew about DuPont, that was up in Delaware. It's a huge research, as everybody kind of knows. But, I knew a couple, but never really considered, I always thought science was going to be through, through medicine, through becoming a doctor. My organic 1 professor said, "Oh, you should consider chemistry research." And that's really what set it off. And it was awesome. To me, it was like a mix of like, I don't want to say blue collar, but a mixture of like figuring out how to set up the reaction and everything is a lot of problem solving and a lot of like hands-on problem solving. And I, really like that. So sorry, let me take away kind of a side.
No, you're good. You're good.
I think
You're not taking
our
away. You're
stories are a lot. I think
You're
our
at it.
stories are pretty similar in that time of our lives, at least.
For sure. I also grew up in a small town, so we didn't do scientists in my small town. We did science teachers and we did doctors. So those were the directions.
Yeah, science teacher and doctor. Yep, very similar.
You want me to keep going on the
Yeah,
grad school
no,
stuff?
absolutely. Yeah.
So I applied to grad school.
Oh yeah, no. I want to one other thing too.
Yeah.
So when I was at another company, we had a advisor that was awesome. That I really loved his work in quantum mechanics on GPUs. I didn't know, but he taught you PChem, Dr. Martinez.
Yeah.
I was super impressed. I was like, oh yeah, I think he maybe taught me PChem. I was like, oh man, that's you lucky guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he was too lucky to have me in his class. I wasn't very good at PChem, but he was top notch, really. Nothing but good things to say. He's a fantastic teacher. If you ever have a chance to take a class from him,
Yeah,
he's awesome.
Absolutely,
he's awesome. But so I applied to grad school, and I ended up working in Tobias Ritter's lab. He was the first one to really, he really drove home that he wanted what you worked on to have utility, terminal industrial utility, that he didn't just want publications, he wanted people to pick up the stuff you were using. And that really hit home for me. I like the idea of being able to impact something, especially on scale, right?
How did he kind of do that? Did he make it very front and center that, hey, this needs to have an industrial application, or how was that?
He was very in focus. So, if you want to investigate a certain topic, why? Right? What utility would you get from the end, right? And would it be simply from evolving the academic literature? And there's nothing wrong with that, but he really wanted to focus on, if you're doing something new, were you doing it at least at the offset in a way that could be potentially impactful at the end? If you missed your mark and you still did something cool, he's not going to publish it, right? But he wanted to make sure your head was in the right spot for where you picked, what your terminal problem was that you were trying to solve, and whether or not that was ultimately a good use of your time.
Interesting. So it's like maybe I could just it's like pick a problem that if you solve exactly if everything goes to plan and you solve it, you will be solving a problem that has utility kind of in the general world, not just in science. But if you happen to see something cool, that's still okay. We'll still publish that. But our main goal is to affect current, state of people outside of chemistry. I would say that's a big thing. I have that as well. It's like, I've worked on some problems of like, well, where does this have any utility outside of, chemistry itself? And that's where I think I wanted to be a physician as well. It was like, yeah, I'm going to have great impact on the community, great impact on all of these people. And I didn't want to just, work off to the side and not have a day-to-day impact. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's also not something I understood too well as an undergrad when I pivoted off of medicine. I don't think I completely understood that doctors are just doing science on people, right? I mean, I understood it, but I don't think I understood it at the level that everything has so many levels, right? That
sure. No, absolutely.
That I didn't understand that was a thing, right? But yeah. So I joined Tobias's lab and worked on arene functionalization, CH functionalization, in large part aligned very well with Christina from undergrad.
Did they know each other, or was there any connection there, or not really, or was it more just applying?
I don't think so. I think they knew of each other. I don't know if they were buds.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, so I worked on area functionalization for a while. Didn't have the greatest luck with it. Took a side step when I couldn't get anything going and worked on aryl boronic acid functionalization, fluorination. Spun off some really cool stuff. Some palladium-3 catalysis and like radical functionalization of aryl trifluoroborates. And that was cool. But then I after that I circled back to arine functionalization, tried to solve that again. Hit my head against that for another, I don't know, year and a half.
Wow. Yeah.
And I had some results, but nothing that was great, right?
Jumps off the page. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
I had the same. I had a similar experience. I had a project too that my thesis about. He was like, work on it a year, and I worked on it a year, and I got nothing. And then, I shifted projects, but I remember then it was like I was like, oh man, I worked on this a year. Like I didn't get anything. He's like, well, that's good. You'll know what it's like to, bang your head against a wall. And I don't know if these are the exact words, but this was kind of it's probably weren't the exact words actually. I probably remember it a little differently. But it was like, you know now how to get up every day, work extremely hard when nothing is working for a long period of time. And to me, that's like one of the most, that's one of the biggest things I got out of grad school was, I'm going to bang my head against a wall for a year, not just like a few weeks. It's like a year you're banging your head against a wall. And, at 9 months, you keep going and you don't know the end of it. It's like it's a pretty, it's a hard thing to learn. But it's almost like you have to go through the pain to know how to deal with it. So,
yeah, I think there were certain aspects.
I don't know if that was your, I don't know if that was your experience. That was just mine.
No, it was my experience. And I think what I've learned in the last 10 years in industry, right, is that things about like iteration cycles, right? If you have an idea and you try your best ideas within that concept for a month, like it's going to take you 6 to 12 months to have like the total productivity of that first month, because your ideas will bleed out in terms of their ability to, or in terms of their how high of quality they are, right?
Yeah, sure.
So as a grad student, I didn't think about that stuff, right? So I'd bang my head against something for a year and a half when I probably should have just tried it for a month and pivoted, right? I feel like those types of things I just didn't understand, right? But like those productivity cycles are important, I think. Mm-hmm. But yeah. So around my fourth year, I'd been trying CH functionalization for most of the time there, and I had a buddy there who Greg, who had been trying arine fluorination, direct fluorinations, CH fluorination, and he I just went by his desk one day, asked him what's up. He said, I got this weird result. And he ran a reaction, ran out of his starting material, no product, and he couldn't figure it out. So he ran the reaction in deuterated solvent, took an NMR at the end, and found out that he'd done a near perfect selectivity arine CH functionalization with the wrong half of his oxidant. So he was using select fluor, and instead of fluorinating it, he put the other half. So he'd put a dabconium derivative with like 99-to-1 selectivity on toluene and fluorobenzene, which for all intents and purposes have extremely little, steric or electronic directing capacity.
Sure.
But I
yes,
look at it. Yeah.
Maybe for the non-chemists, it's like a reaction was put together that it was really unexpected.
Right.
And it didn't make sense.
Right. So the stuff I'd worked on for 2.5 years basically at this point, I wanted to develop chemistry that hadn't been done before. Right. And a lot of the CH functionalization that had been done before falls into this category of directed functionalization. Okay. And undirected functionalization, where you don't basically have something pointing at a specific site, being, like metal react here, right?
Sure.
There's a lot of work that had been done with unselected work, right? And there was like one paper that did there's a Hartwig borylation that was pretty selective in many instances, very selective in some instances, but pretty selective in others for undirected functionalization. But there wasn't anything universal, and there wasn't anything that was highly specific for like very difficult substrates. I'll say that it's singly substituted substrates, but for the context of that, right? And this was perfect. This was perfect, right? The one barrier in
So no side products, no nothing. It was just
99 to 1.
Like
I mean,
1 plus 1 equals 2.
Yeah,
not 1 plus 1 equals 2 and 3.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, you solved it. He said, what do you mean? And I said, that's the problem in area functionalization, selectivity. And you're making something that looks like you should be able to engage it further to functionalize it to whatever you want. He's like, yeah, I don't know. It is kind of weird, right? I mean, he'd had this result for, I don't know, a couple hours maybe.
Oh, yeah. Wait, so you were a fourth year. How what was he like?
He was same year. Same year. I think it was fourth year. I'm sure it was fourth year.
Whatever. I just wanted to like the pecking order in the lab where you sat.
Yeah. No, we were buds. We joined in the same year.
Oh, cool.
We all went to Tobias in our first year and signed up at the same time. It was a good.
Sweet.
It was a good moment. But I was like, yeah, that solved it. This is you just solved area functionalization. And I was like, you're just gonna figure out a way to cross couple that to functionalize that further, and you're just gonna couple it with every single thing that exists, and that's your science paper.
Yeah.
And so I graciously asked if I could join that, since there was no point in solving the same problem twice, right?
Yeah.
And so
wow, that's cool. So you saw this guy, your friend, had this nice, that's why you're one of the best. I swear. You take your friend solved something and then you like join them. A lot of times I've seen in grad school it's like butting heads, but it sounds like his lab was run really nicely with that kind of thing possible.
Yeah, that's one thing I never liked about some academic places. That's one thing that I do appreciate about industry, right? It's big on picking a good problem and then working together to solve it. And I think many grad school labs are set up. I mean, they're set up to build your resume, right? So they're set up so that you can garner the longest resume possible to show that you're a quality scientist, and I think that's great for the time.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
I guess this lines up more with I like picking good problems and just jumping on and trying to solve them, and I think I've been doing that throughout grad school and throughout industry too.
Absolutely.
So I jumped on, tried to do the functionalization, the thing that I wanted to do for a year and a half. Didn't functionalize it the way I wanted to. Ended up just basically destroying it, knocking it down for chemists out there to a piperazine, and it was good enough to publish, but it wasn't exactly what we wanted. But the potential was still there, and
sure.
Tobias has shown over the last 10 years or so that the concept works, right? So they later worked on other ways to other oxidants to functionalize in that same manner, in the same highly selective manner. Then they found ones that were able to functionalize with everything under the sun.
Sure. Oh, they did. So they were able to take it and expand that like substrate, tree or whatever to everything under the sun kind of thing.
Right, like 30 to 40 high level publications. A handful of Nature science papers. I mean, Just
came
re-
from this.
yeah, just a really, I mean,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, in some flavor, yeah. I mean,
In some flavor.
yeah,
At least you know
really,
something is
really,
super selective. This may be a great avenue of research to pursue because we see the potential here, kind of
yeah,
thing. That's
yeah.
what it
It
seems
was
like.
just beautiful work from his lab. Yeah, I get really excited every time he has a new publication on it.
That's cool. Yeah. Because you
Um,
were there when the moment of inspiration came, kind of, right?
yeah, I mean
Or part of the
that's a lot
moment
of
of
chemistry,
inspiration.
right?
Part of the
Where you
inspiration.
trip
Sorry,
over
I know.
something.
Sure.
No, it's just where you trip over something, and you know, yeah, you trip over something. You realize you have foresight to understand what you actually did and what actually happened, and how to leverage that to go forward.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of science, right?
Absolutely.
You try and do one thing, you solve this other thing accidentally.
Then you
It's great.
pivot.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
great. It's great.
Yeah. I've
It's
certainly run
great.
into that. It's like, oh man, I wish I could, but I'll never forget that first year of my. I'll never forget banging my head against a wall. It's like, yeah,
Oh,
normally we'd stop that, a couple months in, but I wanted to make sure you knew how to do it. And I was like, oh, thank you for watching out for me.
yeah.
That was
That
my,
learning experience is just it's hard. It's
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I
I
don't know
mean,
any other way to learn it besides going through it, though. To be honest, like how else do you
yeah,
learn
I mean,
that? You know,
you have to transition from learning out of textbooks to learning in an autonomous way, more or less,
yeah,
right? From
sure.
trial and error, and it's hard. It's hard.
Hmm.
It,
Yeah, I think there's a lot of lessons from that, not only in science, but also like in life and business, and you kind of name
yeah,
it. It's like a
yeah,
fine line of when do you pivot? Do you pivot immediately? Do you pivot? You don't want to pivot immediately. At least from my perspective, you pivot immediately. It feels like you're giving up too early. But you wait too late, and you could squander a bunch of resources. And the biggest resource is time. Squander a bunch of your own time, or not picking. That's why like a big part of my thing too. Now I'm trying to push is, or at least that I've realized is making sure the problem is designed correctly. That's why I really like what you said at the beginning is that your advisor, he was like, the end goal has to be well defined and it has to be clear and valuable. If you don't
right.
have that, you could go off on some fishing expedition that you hope you reel in the monster tuna, but the chances are yeah, not kind of there. So
Yeah, I mean, and that gets so much more complicated when you go into business, right? There's so many
yeah.
more layers that, yeah, in grad school, you're trained out of book science, right? And then you move to this area where you have to do free form science. And you
Hmm.
go into business, and now you have to do free form like 10 different axes at once, none of which you've trained in other than the science part, right? If
Oh,
the
that's a
science
good thought.
applies, right?
Yeah, you
So
certainly
then you
haven't
have to
trained in it.
learn
Yeah,
free form finance or free form, clinical development or how to even pitch, right? You don't get any yeah, I mean like all of it. Getting an investor, right? Getting people to believe in your ideas,
hmm,
taking that feedback and solidifying it more. They're just a million layers that aren't clear to you until they're clear to you. If that
absolutely.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, in order to develop that, you have to be able to pivot. Can't pivot. I'm just going to do this way. You know, big trouble.
Yeah,
So
I mean that's where things like lifelong learning come in.
absolutely,
People say it, and it's like no, it's not just evolving your primary craft; it's evolving your craft to fit the forum you're in, and that
absolutely.
the new forum is can change, and you should change with it.
Cool, awesome. Well, thanks so much, Anthony. Yeah, I don't know if there's any before we run up on time, and I think we've covered a lot of good material here. Is there anything you want to say before we kind of wrap up? And I'm going to give you the opportunity too. If there's anybody who wants to reach out, what kind of things are you looking for anything right now, or are you looking for, I'm sure everybody's looking to meet new people and things. If that's it, but I just wanted to give you the floor or whatever. So
I appreciate that. No, I appreciate you having me on your podcast. It's a new experience for me, so I enjoyed it. Um, and I'm I'm always looking to touch base with people, but nothing specific right now.
I understand. Yeah.
Treading water right
Well,
now.
I'll just toot your horn a little. Whenever I have an organic
Appreciate
chemistry question, I go to Anthony.
I appreciate
I'll text you, be like, hey, what do you think about this? And the straight story is always what comes out first, which is awesome. So
Thank you very much, Fineth. I appreciate that.
absolutely. Well, thanks so much, Anthony. Really appreciate your perspectives and hearing your story. It's been really wonderful. And we'll have to have you on again here sometime soon.
Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you. You have a good one.